yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience for your love with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration, beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab it, then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. They fit their disease. Just like a weed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to a very special edition Thursday stream. Oh yeah, nobody does it like me, baby, and we turning up on Thursday. It is finally starting to show some decent weather here in New Jersey. Mother Nature finally decided to say, all right, you've had enough of the monsoons, you've had enough of the typhoons, you had enough of the sauna days. I'm going to give you a nice day. And it's like 75, it's very breezy out. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful evening here in New Jersey, and we're getting set to talk about some pro wrestling. Now, ain't that a great thing? As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. Shit. Do you smell that? Do you know what that is right there? That is, it's so succulent. It is the smell of pure fucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. Two-man kind. And this is the official rundown for WWE SummerSlam 2023, which of course is streaming live this Saturday on the Peacock, that is. Get your mind out of the gutter, you fucking savages. Peacock this Saturday night from Detroit, Michigan. At 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That is when the pre-show is, with the main show starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I am your host, DJ Storms, and we are set and ready to talk about what should be a very, very, very fun pay-per-view as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, I was supposed to be here with Billy Ann Wolf this evening, but she had some personal obligations to take care of, which is completely fine. I am flying solo on this excursion, and to be quite honest with you, I feel as though I do a lot better solo, because when I'm solo, everyone knows that you're going to get raw, unfiltered, gritty. Meanwhile, when I'm collaborating with someone, I'm a little bit more toned down, but now I can put the pedal to the metal, and oh, is it such a good feeling, and doesn't it fit the vibe for SummerSlam being in Motown, huh? But we got ourselves a decent little card. We got ourselves a decent little card for this Saturday's pay-per-view from Detroit. It's pretty much followed the same exact formula as every WWE pay-per-view has. Very lame build-up, very lukewarm, unexciting, nothing to really sink your teeth into, minus what Roman Reigns and the Bloodline are doing. But in the end, some way, somehow, these premium live events always end up delivering. Not the Royal Rumble, but for the most part, every other premium live event this year has delivered. It's the standard formula for WWE. They absolutely shit the bed on Raw. They shit the bed on SmackDown. And when it comes to the premium live event, they usually leave everyone going home fairly satisfied. That's pretty much the same vibe that I'm getting here. I'm looking at this card up and down. It looks like we could be in for a solid card. And in the end, we'll end up leaving satisfied. We'll end up going to bed on Saturday evening satisfied with what we see. Now, before we get into what we're going to get into, as per usual, please make sure that you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Once again, that is at HistoryMakerDJS. Both on Twitter and Instagram. The links are in the description of this very stream. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please make sure you add me on Facebook as well. And for collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com, like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description as we speak, as well as the links to the social medias of my good friend Brittany K. Shout out to her. Wonderful human being, like I always say here on the channel. She does beautifully crafted designs and edits and drawings from scratch on her iPad of famous pro wrestlers. She also does Twitter abbeys and Twitter banners. So if you're looking for a social media profile pic, a pro wrestling design, a Twitter banner, she is your girl. Follow her on Twitter at BrittanyK5150 and follow her on Instagram at BrittanyKDesigns. Please do so. She is wonderful. She deserves all the love that this world has to offer. We are almost 8 minutes into the stream. If you haven't already done so, like the stream. I don't know what the fuck you're doing if you haven't liked the stream. No matter where you're watching it from, whether you're watching it from Hardcore Sports Twitter, Hardcore Sports Twitch, Hardcore Sports YouTube, my Twitter, my personal Facebook, my DJ Storms Posse Facebook page, my DJ Storms business page, and of course, my YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel, it is the best YouTube channel out there on that platform. You are not going to want to miss a moment when I'm live on YouTube. Obviously, when you like the stream, no matter what platform you're watching it on, share it out, whether that be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using, because we want to get as many people in here as possible, because everyone needs a dose of DJ Storms. Even the people that can't stand me. Even the people that cannot stand me, they need a dose of me, because I am just that damn scintillating. Aren't I? I think I am. Of course, be sure to hit the subscribe button, whether you're watching on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel or my YouTube channel. And when you do, hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. It is the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Give me 1 second. It is time to light it up. We're going to light it up with this beautifully crafted magical ace black comb. We're going to light it up right here on the stream with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like a hot steaming beef burger right off the grill with American cheese melted on top and some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, all betwixt two fluffy buns. I am just so good. I am the tastiest snack in the IWC, and everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister because I am absolutely phenomenal in every sense of the word. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. Let's get straight into the festivities here on the rundown. Let's talk about the first match on the show, or at least the first match that I have on my list. WWE recently announced the SummerSlam Battle Royale. This is a Vince McMahon specialty where they just throw in a multi-man match to get everyone on the show just for the hell of it. Here's the thing with these multi-man matches. This isn't the first time that WWE does this, and they've done a lot of them this year. Really, they have. They've done a lot of multi-man matches this year specifically, but the one common denominator that they all have, which is really a turnoff, is there's no meaning behind them. It's just a match that's there. There's no stakes. They did it with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. They did it with the men's and women's tag team showcases matches at WrestleMania. And now they're doing it with the SummerSlam Battle Royale. Where are the stakes? Where's the importance? That right there is the biggest, the most important question when it comes to a wrestling match. Why are these individuals fighting? How would it look? How would it look if we have Roman Reigns out there, right? Roman Reigns is in a battle royale, and Gunther's in a battle royale, and Rollins is mixed in there too. Balor's thrown in there, and Karrion Kross and AJ Styles, and whoever else they want to throw in there. All these big names, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Damian Priest, all these big names are in this battle royal, and there's no meaning behind it whatsoever. There's nothing. The SummerSlam Battle Royale is a match to basically get everyone on the show. And if you want to get some more people on the show, fine, but you better give us stakes. This is the fourth time this year, alongside the WrestleMania Tag Team Showcase matches and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, where we've had a multi-person match with zero stakes behind it. No one's going to be invested in a match if there's nothing on the line, if there's no reason to care. Now, if you want a reason to care, what you could have done with this match is you could have made this match a number one contenders battle royale, and the winner could choose whether he wants to face the United States or the Intercontinental Champion. That would have given the match stakes, it would have given it importance, and above all else, it would have given it unpredictability. But no, you just throw this match on the show with no rhyme or reason, and you expect people to care about this. It's a very, very, very lame and very, very formulaic concept that WWE follows all the time. You want to do a multi-man match? Fine. I have no problem with you doing a multi-man match. Fine. But you better give the match stakes. You better give the winner something. They do this all the time with the King of the Ring tournament. King of the Ring tournaments should determine the number one contender for the World Championship on either brand. Could be the World Heavyweight title or could be the Undisputed Universal title. But instead, for the last however many years now, all the winner gets is a crown, a robe, a scepter, and a shitty king gimmick. As if that shit is still popular in modern day pro wrestling. Same thing with the SummerSlam Battle Royale and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Nothing is on the line. It has absolutely zero stakes and zero prestige. Now, the winner of this match, what do you do here? I mean, the winner is quite obvious. The winner's quite obvious. He's legitimately the most over guy in the company right now. You know who I'm talking about. LA Knight, yeah. This is the fourth opportunity that they've had to do right by LA Knight. He should have won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, didn't win it. Should have won Money in the Bank, didn't win it. Should have won the United States Championship, didn't win it. This is the fourth time that you have to do right by LA Knight. LA Knight is easily the most obvious choice to win this. Easily the most obvious choice to win this. Will he win it? Probably not. It's a meaningless battle royale. Watch them give it to Dominic Mysterio because they think that Judgment Day is going to spike up those ratings. You got to give the win to Dominic Mysterio, and then Dominic Mysterio is going to parade around on Tuesday nights saying, hey, I'm North American champion and I won the SummerSlam Battle Royale. It don't mean jack shit. Just watch him give it to Dominic Mysterio. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. This is an MMA rules match. Now, I will say this. The promo package and the sit-down interviews that we had on Monday, a couple of nights ago, with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, I will admit, that was fantastic. The sit-downs, they offered a very nice vibe. They explained the history between Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. It actually got me somewhat excited to actually see this match, regardless of the fact that I know it's going to be shit. And the reason why it's going to be shit is because it's MMA rules. They're bringing MMA rules. They're bringing UFC-style fights into the world of pro wrestling. That don't work. I'm sorry, but you look at the history, that does not work. The last time that I can honestly say that an MMA or a UFC-style match actually worked in pro wrestling was probably back in the summer of 2021 on AEW television, where we had Wardlow and Jake Hager in a cage fight on Dynamite. And that was a worked cage fight, but in the end, they actually were able to produce something somewhat decent. But outside of that, I can't really remember one type of MMA style matchup in WWE or AEW or anything of that nature that turned out good. The only match that would bring Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to the best possible scenario at SummerSlam, the only match that really fits this feud is a fight pit. But are they going to do a fight pit? Probably not. Why? Because that's a Triple H created concept, the fight pit. The Triple H created concept. What does Vince McMahon do with Triple H created concepts? He chucks them right in the toilet. Flush, and it's never seen again. MMA style rules for this match. I'm going to throw out something, and it may be a bitter pill for a lot of people to swallow, but I don't really care. I don't care. I've never cared. I've never given a shit, and I'm not going to start now. MMA sucks. UFC sucks. UFC and MMA are fucking boring. It's the same thing every single fight. Two fighters come on into the cage, they bounce around a little bit, they throw a couple strikes, they lock in a couple of arm bars and triangle chokes, rinse and repeat every single time. There's no differentiating one fight from the next. I can't even remember the names of some of these individuals in MMA or the UFC. Now listen, no discrediting any of those men and women. Those men and women are complete badasses. I would not step to them at all, but that doesn't mean that the whole concept is intriguing to watch. If that's your thing, God bless you, but I'm here to tell you that it's boring. And if you don't agree with that, I really don't give a fuck. It's the fucking truth. It's boring. It's the same thing every single time. So I don't give a fuck about an MMA rules match unless there's a cage around the ring. Unless they're actually going to give us Baszler and Rousey with a cage around the ring. But in the end, I don't even trust WWE to do that right. So at the end of the day, this is probably going to be the worst match on the show. And it's ultimately going to be a blemish on what should otherwise be a very solid premium live event. Who wins this? This is a no-brainer. Just like the SummerSlam Battle Royale, but in the end, I don't trust him with the SummerSlam Battle Royale. I don't trust him with this match either. In the end, there should be no question that Shayna Baszler should be the one coming out victorious here. Ronda Rousey is terrible. Ronda Rousey in this second run with WWE has legitimately been one of the worst things about WWE television. There has been nothing redeeming about Ronda Rousey outside of a semi-decent match with Raquel Rodriguez back on the final SmackDown of 2022. Ronda Rousey has offered legitimately nothing to WWE television. It was that and the promo package that we got this past Monday on Raw. Outside of that, Ronda Rousey has been a complete flop. A complete flop from the moment that she stepped back into WWE. Shayna Baszler, she has spoken a lot of truth, and I mean a lot of truth, in her promos leading up to this match. Shayna Baszler has always been the better version of Ronda Rousey. Shayna Baszler is everything that you want in a female badass. Shayna Baszler is and forever will be the best, and I mean the best female heel of this era. There has not been a better female heel, minus Sasha Banks when she was down in NXT. There has not been a better female heel to come through the gates of the WWE Performance Center and dominate NXT as the NXT Women's Champion like Shayna Baszler, minus Asuka. Asuka was the best NXT Women's Champion of all time, if you're asking me, but Shayna Baszler, her reign as NXT Women's Champion down there will go down as nothing short of historic. It will. Shayna Baszler should easily win this match. There is no exceptions. You need to build a new star. And on top of that, you need challengers for Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez seems to be the route that they're going with going into Payback. And by the way, it was a smart move to take that match off of SummerSlam because in the end, that match is just going to add to an already stacked SummerSlam card, and Raquel and Rhea is ultimately going to be overshadowed by everything else on the card. They deserve a proper build, so building it towards Payback, it actually gives people more of a reason to care. It gives people more of a reason to care. So I don't have any issue with Rhea and Raquel being taken off of SummerSlam, build it to Payback, and then after Payback, Shayna Baszler gets a few more wins after she beats Ronda Rousey, and then Shayna Baszler is the next in line for Rhea Ripley. If anything, I would have Shayna Baszler beat Rhea Ripley and become the new Women's World Champion. Shayna Baszler has been waiting a long time to get her just due. And if anyone deserves it, if anyone deserves to be the one to take down Rhea Ripley, it's Shayna Baszler. No question, Shayna Baszler wins this match. Let me take a look at the chat for a minute. I see we are starting to get some more people filing on in. I see we got Michkovsky, Drew on the beat. Shout out to Drew. And Raphael and Positive Philly Productions. Thank you all for joining. I greatly appreciate you guys coming on in and showcasing some support for the best brand in the IWC. Absolutely no one measures up and nobody can touch me. Plain and simple. You guys have been great since the start, and you guys have been awesome all year around. Moving on here with the rundown, let's talk about the triple threat match with Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. I would have thought that I would have had more to say about this, but I really don't. I really don't. I think I've missed about 4 SmackDowns in the last several weeks. Whether it was because I was going down to Austin for my cousin's bachelor party or I was going out to independent wrestling events. I think I've missed about 4 weekly SmackDowns. I watched them back after I got home from either the bachelor party or these independent wrestling events, and I legitimately missed nothing. It's legitimately been the same damn thing with these 3 women every single week. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, has felt important. Nothing's felt important. Nothing has felt must-see. It's been the same thing every single week. Someone has a match. Someone gets involved. It causes a disqualification. Very lame, stereotypical, scripted promos. You could just tell that these promos are scripted, and it has been completely unexciting. It's been lackluster. It's been lackluster right down to the very last letter. Nothing, and I mean nothing about this program leading up into SummerSlam has been exciting. The only thing, and I mean legitimately, the only thing that's going to be the saving grace here is that this match is ultimately going to be a decent triple threat match. I don't see how it can't. I really don't see how it can't. You got Asuka, who is easily one of the most underappreciated females in WWE history. She has not been done right. You got Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, easily one of the best that they have. Easily one of the best that they have. And Charlotte Flair, listen, Charlotte Flair is a manipulative piece of shit. She's a piece of shit. She's a bitch. She is a cancer to the women's division. But at the end of the day, when she is paired with the right talent, she delivers a decent wrestling match. Now, she does have a little bit of ring rust on her, so it's going to be, it's going to be a little while before she gets back into the groove of things. But I mean, if you're going to be putting a triple threat match with Bianca Belair and Asuka, I would like to believe that Miss Flair is going to bring her A game. Even though I hate her, and even though here on the channel it's fuck Charlotte Flair all day, every day, at the end of the day, I cannot deny that she is a very good wrestler. And she put on what was easily the best women's match of the year so far against Rhea Ripley. So in the end, we could end up getting a decent triple threat match. I just don't care. I just cannot bring myself to care whatsoever. And it's because of how these women have been booked throughout the entire summer leading up to this match. People backstage reportedly are frustrated with the booking of the WWE Women's Division. Oh, now you want to be frustrated. Now you want to be frustrated. Let me tell you something. Frustration, you can be frustrated all you want, but if you're not going to stand up and if you're not going to revolt against the backstage politics and you're not going to revolt against shitty creative on the part of a nearly 80-year-old senile old fuck, at the end of the day, frustrations ain't going to do jack. Frustrations will not do jack. Frustrations will not get you anywhere. I'm sorry, it won't. The only thing that's going to get you someplace is if you actually stand up to the powers that be. And are these women going to? No. Because no one has the balls to. Or should I say no one has the tits to. Who wins this match? I mean, this one is clear as day. Asuka should be retaining. There's no reason for Bianca to win, and there's no reason for Charlotte to win. But seeing as Charlotte is in this match, seeing as Charlotte has seemingly become Miss SummerSlam, seeing as Charlotte has pretty much become the female version of Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, where she wins every single SummerSlam she appears at, it really would not surprise me at all. Really wouldn't surprise me at all if she does walk out the champion. WWE has every reason to put the championship on her. And then what's going to happen? We're going to be back in the same boat. Who exactly is on that show? Who exactly is on SmackDown outside of Bianca and Charlotte that is going to challenge Asuka after Asuka wins? Or better yet, who's going to challenge Charlotte if she happens to beat Asuka and Bianca Belair and Charlotte's the new women's champion? Who's there to challenge? Bayley's not doing anything. Bayley is in a feud with a bald-headed Shotzi. Shotzi, she ain't doing anything. She ain't going to be pushed for jack. No matter what's going on in her personal life, no matter what type of sympathy she may gain. Io Sky, way too early for that. Io should be cashing in at WrestleMania and giving us a major moment for women's wrestling. The first time ever that a female Money in the Bank contract holder has ever cashed in at WrestleMania. Who else is there on SmackDown? There's nobody. There's no one. Unless we're going to get Roxanne Perez getting called up to the main roster. That's a possibility. She could be put on SmackDown. Rhea Ripley, oddly enough, has more challengers on Raw than Asuka does on SmackDown. After Rhea Ripley gets done with Raquel, she still has Liv, she still has Shayna, and she has Becky, because Becky's going to be done with Trish in about 2 weeks. Once Becky's done with Trish, Becky, clear as day, is going to be next in line for a potential match against Rhea Ripley. And that is a big-time match that I think a lot of people have been wanting to see. That could very well rival what Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair did, or what Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair did a couple years ago at WrestleMania. So, Asuka could really benefit from a Roxanne Perez getting called up from NXT and going to SmackDown. But either way, I don't see Roxanne Perez really being showcased the way that she should be showcased, because if they don't care about women's wrestling on the main roster right now, why would they care just because Roxanne Perez, a 21-year-old prodigy, is getting called up to the main roster? Why would they care? Imagine if Charlotte wins, then Roxanne gets called up. What are you going to do? You're going to feed Roxanne Perez to Charlotte Flair? Asuka is the woman to come out victorious. It makes no sense to have Bianca win. It makes no sense to have Charlotte win. Charlotte Flair shouldn't even be in a championship match. The only reason why she is because she politics her way into every single major championship match on every single major premium live event that she could possibly get herself onto. Asuka retains. No exceptions. Ricochet and Logan Paul. Ricochet and Logan Paul is what we got here. Now, we all know that WWE television has been the drizzling shits. WWE TV has been the absolute drizzling shits coming out of WrestleMania 39. WWE TV on a weekly basis has been absolutely shitting the bed every step of the way. Every step of the way, every single show, whether it be on Monday, whether it be on Friday, whether it be on Tuesday, no matter what it may be on, every single time we see a WWE show, they have absolutely shit the bed. However, one thing I will say that has been a positive on WWE's side of the fence. One thing I will say that has been a positive on WWE's side of the fence, minus whatever's going on with the Bloodline, one positive that we have seen is the fact that Ricochet has been showcased very prominently on WWE TV throughout the summer of 2023. That much I will say. Ricochet has been showcased very prominently on Monday Night Raw throughout this summer, leading up into Money in the Bank, and then coming out of Money in the Bank, being capped off with a semi-decent build towards a SummerSlam match with Logan Paul. Now, it hasn't been the best thing on WWE TV. It could obviously be a hell of a lot better. They could be doing a lot more to get us hyped about this match, but I can't sit here and tell you that I've really been complaining or I've really hated anything that they've done with Logan Paul and Ricochet ever since they started this program. And on top of that, Ricochet and Logan Paul was always the correct match to go forth with at SummerSlam. Ricochet was always the best opponent for Logan Paul at SummerSlam. He made the most sense. He was the one that screwed Logan Paul out of winning not one, but two major matches. He made Logan Paul go viral, both at Money in the Bank and at the Royal Rumble. The original plan was supposed to be LA Knight, which I don't understand how that made sense whatsoever. And I'm glad that they switched up the plans, because LA Knight should be fighting for the United States Championship against Austin Theory, and he should be beating Austin Theory. If not now, then sometime after SummerSlam. Build it up to Payback if you have to. But Ricochet was always the correct man to fight Logan Paul. Logan Paul, you can have whatever opinion that you want on him. You can hate him all you want. But in the end, Logan Paul is a fantastic professional wrestler. And he has had some bangers over the course of the last year. He had a great match with Seth Rollins, a match of the year candidate with Roman Reigns. He brought The Miz to The Miz's best match in WWE since The Miz's match with Dolph Ziggler at No Mercy in 2016. If you guys remember that match with The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, that match was probably the match of Miz's career right there. That was probably the best match of Miz's career, period. And Logan Paul brought The Miz to a match that was this close to being as good as the Dolph Ziggler match at No Mercy. That's how good Logan Paul is. If Logan Paul can bring The Miz to a great match, probably what some people called the match of the night at SummerSlam, what do you think Logan Paul could do with Ricochet? Ricochet is one of the best pro wrestlers on the planet right now. Now, who wins? Who wins? I honestly have no idea. It could swing either way. Now, Wrestling 101 states, since Logan Paul stood tall on the Go Home show this past Monday on Raw, it would make sense that Ricochet is the one to get the victory over Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Could that happen? Maybe. Maybe that could happen, but I don't know. Because at the end of the day, you do have to take into consideration that Logan Paul has lost 5 big matches in a row. Logan Paul has been competing in 5 big matches over the course of the last 10 months, and he's lost every single one of them. He lost to Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. He lost the Royal Rumble match. He lost to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and he's coming off a loss at Money in the Bank as well. So, realistically speaking, this would be his 5th big match in a row. And if he were to lose to Ricochet, that would be 5 big matches in a row that Logan Paul has lost. Now, granted, Logan Paul doesn't need to be beating anyone. Granted, Logan Paul is there to give more eyes to WWE. Granted, Logan Paul is there to give WWE some more mainstream traction. He's not there. He's not there to win matches and beat full-time talent. He is there to be a top-tier celebrity attraction. But at the end of the day, Logan Paul, if he's going to come out here and talk all this shit and he's losing all of these big matches in a row, it really wouldn't make too much sense. Now, granted, if I was booking this, Ricochet comes out victorious, no questions asked, no problem. But at the end of the day, considering Logan Paul has been on a pretty significant losing streak as of lately, it is rather possible that Logan Paul could come out victorious. The one thing that I will say that makes this match very intriguing is the fact that it's unpredictable. Minus the fact that these two are going to absolutely tear the house down. Minus the fact that this could absolutely steal the show. In the end, I do believe that this is probably the most unpredictable match on the card. And that is a very good thing. That is a very good thing in the end because it gives the match that extra oomph that it needs. In a day and age where a lot of wrestling matches nowadays are unpredictable, this match is unpredictable, which makes it even more intriguing. Now, I would have gone with Ricochet, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the safe route here. I think I'm going to go with Logan Paul. Now, here's the thing. Here's the one thing that WWE needs to do. Win, lose, or draw. Ricochet must remain a prominent figure on WWE television following this match with Logan Paul. At the end of the day, the one thing that this match should do, minus the fact that it's going to make SummerSlam a better show, minus the fact that Logan Paul is going to prove everyone that doubts him wrong again, minus all of that, the one thing that this match should do is make Ricochet into a bigger star. Because Ricochet had all the star power that you could ever ask for coming up from NXT, and they absolutely wasted him. They wasted him right down to the very last letter. Absolutely destroyed, discarded, dumped on the side of the road, and left for dead. Ricochet should be made into a major player after this match with Logan Paul. I don't care where he goes. If you have to, you know what I would do? I'll tell you what I would do. I would have Seth Rollins retain the World Heavyweight Championship. You can continue to create the dissension within Judgment Day. Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship. And at Payback, You build towards a match with Ricochet and Seth Rollins, and Ricochet is in the World Heavyweight title scene. That's what you do. Because if you want yourself a match that will generate intrigue for Payback, if you want to make the undercard pay-per-views feel important and feel more special, that's a match that will make it feel special. And it's a first-time ever match. We've never seen it before. I can't remember once in WWE. We have never seen a Seth Rollins versus Ricochet match one-on-one. Not that I can remember. So that right there would be a perfect spot to slot Ricochet in after this match with Logan Paul. Gunther, the Ring General, Gunther, he will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre. And this match came about pretty much because Drew McIntyre, and I don't need any backstage sources, I don't need anyone to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, because unlike most, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's why I have people that listen to me. In the end, Drew McIntyre, he was not happy with his creative direction. You could pay Drew McIntyre all the money in the world. At the end of the day, Drew McIntyre knows that the money's always going to be there no matter what. Drew McIntyre is always going to be there no matter what. But in the end, Drew McIntyre was not happy with the way that his creative booking was turning out. And he has every right to feel that way. So what happens? He puts down an ultimatum. He's either going to feud with Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, or he's fighting Gunther, and more likely than not, he's beating Gunther. And he chose Gunther. And by the way, Mr. James Punaseca, I believe that is in the Facebook chat. Mr. James Punaseca, it's actually not German versus Irish. It's actually Austrian versus Scotland. So a lot of international flavor in this Intercontinental Championship match for you. If you guys watched the triple threat match at WrestleMania with Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther, you will know exactly what you are in for. It's going to be the same thing that we saw at WrestleMania, minus Sheamus. But either way, this is going to be one hell of a match. This is going to be one hell of a match. If there's one match besides Ricochet and Logan Paul that could steal the show, it's going to be Gunther and Drew McIntyre. I can't wait for this match. I'm actually very excited to see this match. And on top of it, this match is also unpredictable. Minus Ricochet and Logan Paul, this match holds a lot of unpredictable weight as well. Now, who wins? Now, if I was booking this, I would give it to Gunther. I would give it to Gunther because if Gunther can hold the Intercontinental Championship to September 9th, he will break the Honky Tonk Man's record as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. The Honky Tonk Man's record is 454 days as the Intercontinental Champion. If there's one guy to break it, I mean, Gunther is right there. Gunther's right there. He has done everything that you could possibly do to showcase to you that he is more than worthy of breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record. It's right there. Now, Drew McIntyre, what do you do with Drew McIntyre? You could still have Drew McIntyre beat Gunther, but have him beat him at Fastlane. Fastlane is on October 7th. Have him beat Gunther at Fastlane, and then Gunther will hold the record well beyond breaking it. He won't just break it and lose it like some individuals have done in the past. Gunther will hold the record for a little bit longer. He can hold it to Fastlane on October 7th and then drop it to Drew McIntyre then. Why does it have to be at SummerSlam? The only reason I can see Drew McIntyre coming out victorious here, and unfortunately, this is the ultimate decision. This is the ultimate deciding factor in everything here. Ultimately, it comes down to Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon, he's the guy that's running creative. It doesn't matter what you want to believe. You need to stop reading all these reports. You need to stop living in a fantasy. Triple H has absolutely zero creative control. He's got nothing. He's got absolutely nothing. Zip, Zilch, zero. Vince McMahon has been in full control of creative since coming back in January. Vince McMahon is in full control no matter what you want to believe, no matter how you want to spin it. Vince McMahon is running the show, plain and simple. And with Vince running the show, you can clearly see who he favors and who he doesn't favor. He just hasn't made it that obvious yet. But with Gunther approaching the Honky Tonk Man's record with Drew McIntyre back and seeing that Vince McMahon is very desperate to keep Drew McIntyre, he's very, very desperate to keep Drew McIntyre because if Drew McIntyre leaves, that is a huge blow to WWE, whether you want to admit it or not. That's a huge blow. If Drew McIntyre walks, he will march right into AEW and he will be easily number one guy right then and there. Vince can't lose Drew. And seeing that Vince is desperate to keep Drew, who's the expendable one in this scenario, he looks at Gunther as nothing more than a body. He looks at Gunther as nothing more than a man that he can use, and he can give all that credibility that Gunther has generated for himself. He could bottle that up all nice and tight, wrap it up in a bow, and then gift it to Drew McIntyre on a silver platter. And that should not be done. Why does Drew McIntyre need to beat Gunther? Why does he need to beat Gunther before Gunther beats the record? Why does he need to beat Gunther at all? Drew McIntyre is a made man. If anything, Drew McIntyre could easily be fighting for the World Championship. Drew McIntyre could be fighting, he could be on SmackDown, fighting for the United States Championship and bring some more prestige to that championship. If anything, Gunther and his Intercontinental title reign should be used to build up a new star, but that's not the business that WWE's in. They're not in the business of creating new stars. Meanwhile, they don't even realize that creating new stars could make them 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much money as they're already making right now. But who the fuck am I? Who am I? It's a tough one here. I mean, not for me. I know who I would have come out victorious, but unfortunately, I am not running creative. I don't know how Drew McIntyre doesn't win this. I'm being completely honest right now. I don't know how Drew McIntyre doesn't win this. Now, he can easily lose. He can lose, he'll be fine, and you can build towards another match in the coming months. After Gunther breaks the record, then Drew McIntyre could win the title off of Gunther. But in the end, I don't see how Vince McMahon is going to bring Drew McIntyre back. And he looks at Gunther, and seeing as he had every intention of burying Gunther, he had every intention of taking the title off of Gunther last summer before he retired, burying Gunther, burying him, and then sending him back down to NXT because he didn't like the way that a match between Gunther and R-Truth went about. He didn't like how that went about. He's a demented sicko. He's a demented old piece of garbage with absolutely no plans whatsoever but to kill anything and everything that his son-in-law ever created. He does not know his toenail from his nose hair. Seeing as Gunther was never really in place for this long of a title run, seeing as Gunther was never in place to hold the championship for nearly as long as the Honky Tonk Man, I don't see how Drew McIntyre loses this. I really don't. I honestly do believe we're looking down the barrel of a new Intercontinental Champion. We're looking down the barrel of Drew McIntyre hitting that oh-so-devastating Claymore, and Drew McIntyre is going to stand over Gunther's body as the new Intercontinental Champion. Do I want it to happen? No. Would I be okay if it happens after October? Maybe. But even so, I mean, this right here would be the most blatant, and I mean the most blatant, and I mean blatant Vince McMahon move right down to the very last letter. I don't see how Drew McIntyre loses this match. Shout out to Daniel Sports Highlights. Shout out to Didi. Thank you very much for joining. Shout out to Steve Jordan. If you guys are watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button and share the stream out on all platforms of social media. It is very vital that you do so because we are looking to be the top brand in all of sports analytics. That includes hardcore sports and my brand myself. So please make sure you go to YouTube and hit that like button when you can. Moving on here to the next match. It's Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, part number 3. I don't care. I don't care. The less that I say about this, the better. You know why? Because there is nothing to say about this. It's the same thing every single week. Cody comes out, he cuts a promo about how big, strong, and mighty Brock Lesnar is. Brock Lesnar comes out. Brock Lesnar destroys Cody. Brock Lesnar takes the next week off. He comes back after that, beats up Cody again, goes into the pay-per-view, suplex, Kimura lock, F5, crossroads, Cody Cutter, 9-minute match, move on to the next segment, and that's pretty much it. No rhyme or reason whatsoever, absolutely zero, and I mean zero innuendo, zero hints as to why Brock Lesnar even attacked Cody to begin with, and we have been at this for 4 months! We have been at this for 4 goddamn months without a single reason as to why Brock Lesnar decided to swoop Cody up on the night after WrestleMania, F5 him into oblivion, and then beat him senseless with the steps and the table rubble and steel chairs and leave him in a pool of his own sweat. In a pool of his own sweat and his own mangled bones. No one knows why. It just happened. It's just there. It makes no sense. It's there because Vince wanted it, and he didn't care if it made sense to the general public or not. But yet somehow people think that Cody Rhodes still feels the same as he was going into WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes should have never lost at WrestleMania 39. Him losing at WrestleMania 39 will forever go down as one of the biggest creative botches of the modern era in WWE history. Probably the biggest creative botch since The Fiend losing to Goldberg back at Super Showdown literally 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. I don't care. I don't care about this match. If you think it's going to be any different than the last 2, you're sorely mistaken. We haven't even gotten a stipulation. We were supposed to get some sort of stipulation. Some people were saying dog collar match. Some people were saying a Texas bull rope match. Some people were saying a first blood match. There were all sorts of matches being thrown around. What match did we get? We got a standard one-on-one match. How do you think this is going to play out? Same exact way that the first 2 matches played out. It will be no different. No different whatsoever. Cody Rhodes is winning this. Have Cody win this and have that be the end of it because my God, I cannot take it. I cannot take it anymore. I cannot take it anymore. I swear. I swear. It's just aggravating me with every single second that I talk about this. Every single time I talk about this, my blood is just boiling to a point where if you put a frying pan with hot water under my arm, the hot water will vaporize. My blood boils every single time I talk about this. Cody Rhodes, at this rate, he is nothing more than a theme song. He's nothing more than adrenaline in my soul. Every thought out of control. Do it all to get them off their feet. Oh! That's all he is. The one question that I'm going to be asking is, what exactly is going to happen with Cody after SummerSlam? What's going to happen? Now, Randy Orton has not been factored into any creative plans, so Randy Orton could very well be out of the equation, unless all those reports are false. Unless those reports are false, and we will see Randy Orton on the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. Maybe we see him at SummerSlam. Maybe we see him at SummerSlam, and he attacks Cody after Cody beats Lesnar. Who knows? Maybe Cody challenges Seth Rollins? I don't know. Does Cody challenge Finn Balor if Finn Balor wins the World Championship? Again, I don't know. What about Brock Lesnar? I don't care what happens with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, as far as I'm concerned, I hope that this is the last match in Brock Lesnar's contract. There is legitimately no one. There is no one else that I would rather see Brock Lesnar face. Brock Lesnar's second WWE run since coming back, ever since he returned at SummerSlam 2021, Brock Lesnar's WWE run for the last 2 years has been absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Brock Lesnar has had no memorable moments, no memorable matches whatsoever. The only good match that Brock Lesnar has had in the last 2 years was that last man standing match last year at at SummerSlam. May as well have been WrestleMania. SummerSlam, last man standing match for the Undisputed Universal title against Roman Reigns. That was the last time that Brock Lesnar had a good match, and that was literally the only good match in the last 2 to 3 years that Brock Lesnar has had. Every other match that Lesnar's had, it's been the same thing. And the common denominator is all those matches, they all go under 10 minutes. Brock Lesnar can't even be bothered to work a match that goes more than 10 minutes. Especially after that horrendous feud, and I mean horrendous feud with Bobby Lashley. Why would anyone want to see Brock Lesnar competing in a wrestling ring anymore? If this is not the end of his contract, I would not even hesitate. I would not even think twice. If I was them, I'm paying Lesnar to sit out the rest of his contract. Brock Lesnar is as lazy as they come. What happens with Cody Rhodes? I honestly have no idea. But to be quite honest with you, it's going to take a lot to rejuvenate Cody Rhodes' momentum after they absolutely destroyed him after WrestleMania. Should have never lost to Roman. Cody right now should be the world champion. Cody is winning this match. End of discussion. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, World Heavyweight Championship. And the first thing I want to say about this is, if this was ultimately going to be the match at SummerSlam, which a match at SummerSlam makes a lot more sense because it was 7 years ago at SummerSlam that the whole scenario took place, why exactly did you do this match at Money in the Bank? Seth Rollins has been really doing God's work as the World Heavyweight Champion. He's been putting on great matches week in and week out with Damian Priest, with Braun Breaker, and you left a blemish. You left a huge blemish right on Seth Rollins' world title reign with that match against Finn Balor at Money in the Bank. That was a Monday Night Raw match if I've ever seen it. 12 and a half minutes that match got. 12 and a half minutes. Yet, this is supposed to be a 7-year-long feud, and you only give them 12 minutes to do what? It didn't even break out of the first gear. A match merely made to fuel the breakup between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Fuel the breakup between Judgment Day. That should not be the case. If you're going to put Finn Balor and Rollins on pay-per-view, they should be going no less than 20 minutes. You're giving them another shot at SummerSlam. This better get 20 minutes, because if it don't, you're going to be hearing from me. What's the outcome? A lot of people have been advocating for Finn Balor to win. Why would you take the title off of Seth Rollins when he's barely held it for, 10 weeks? You're going to take the title off of Rollins after he's held it for 10 weeks? Listen, I want Finn Balor to be the World Heavyweight Champion just as much as the next guy. I do. I really do. But I'm not going to say, give Finn Balor the World Heavyweight Championship and pretty much downplay Seth Rollins. Downplay Seth Rollins and let Seth Rollins have a 10-week-long title reign. I don't understand. Why would you want Seth Rollins to lose the World Heavyweight title after 10 weeks? Seth Rollins should be holding that title 200 days minimum. Minimum. He should be holding that title till the end of the year, minimum. Seth Rollins should be in no position whatsoever where he should be losing the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm sorry. So get that out of your head. Could it happen? Maybe. It could happen. I wouldn't put it past WWE to give Balor the World Heavyweight title and then have Damian Priest swoop in and cash in his Money in the Bank contract on Finn Balor. I guess you could say that this match is a little unpredictable too. You could say that this match is a little unpredictable because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to go with Rollins. I'm not sure if Balor's going to win and then Priest is going to cash in. Maybe Finn Balor does win the World Heavyweight title and maybe he does get a long, extended World Heavyweight title reign. Who knows? Maybe he does. And maybe Damian Priest ends up cashing in when Finn Balor least expects it. It could be an intriguing story. I wouldn't mind it at all. But if you're asking me, I don't understand why anyone would take the title off of Seth Rollins after what? 10 weeks, 70 days. You're going to shaft Seth Rollins after he's waited how many years? How many years has this man waited for a proper, and I mean a proper World Heavyweight Championship title reign, and you're going to take the title off of him just because of a Judgment Day storyline? I'm sorry, that is inexcusable. That is inexcusable. That should not be done. And in no way, shape, or form should Seth Rollins be shafted just because you think that Judgment Day is going to generate as much ratings as the Bloodline right now. It doesn't work that way. The best route to go is Rollins retaining. Best route to go is Rollins retaining, and that is what I'm going to stick to. I'm going to stick with Seth Rollins, and I'm going to stick with him being the one to take down Finn Balor. Main event. Main event. We have reached the end. We have reached the end, ladies and gentlemen. The main event. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso tribal combat for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I have been very vocal about Roman Reigns, and not necessarily in a positive light. I'm not going to discredit Roman Reigns and his work. Roman Reigns and his work has been phenomenal. This tribal chief gimmick, this tribal chief character has made him into one of the best that we have right now. And anyone that denies that is a complete idiot. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Roman Reigns needed to hold the championship for this long. Roman Reigns and his title reign has been ruined. You may not believe that. You may not want to believe that. You may not see that, but that is the gospel truth, no matter what you want to believe and what type of deluded, moronic thought you want to conjure up in your brains. Roman Reigns' title reign has been ruined. Roman Reigns' title reign has gone on too long. I understand maybe a 45-day period or a 55-day period not defending the title because you want to make the title defenses feel more special. I get that. But it's been 4 months. It's been how many days? 120 plus days? 120 plus days since Roman Reigns last defended the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I am sorry. That is inexcusable. Roman Reigns at this rate is no better than Brock Lesnar. What Drew McIntyre said last year, saying that we're sick of the part-time champions, that right there was a shoot. Because that's what Roman Reigns is. Roman Reigns is a part-time champion. And it's pathetic. It's honestly pathetic because I know how good Roman Reigns is. You know how good Roman Reigns is. Roman Reigns is great at what he does. But in no way, shape, or form, in no way, shape, or form should we be in a scenario where Roman Reigns is going out there and he isn't even defending the championship, yet he's competing in matches following his title defense at WrestleMania. He's competed twice since WrestleMania, and he hasn't defended the title since then. Inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. Roman Reigns is great, but his title reign has gone on too long. He should have lost at WrestleMania. There was no reason for Roman Reigns to reach 1,000 days. At this rate, they're just padding his stats for the sake of padding his stats, and you are sacrificing everyone else around you for the sake of Roman Reigns. That is inexcusable. Inexcusable. What happens? what happens now? I already said that I would have Jey Uso beat Roman. I would honestly have Jey Uso beat Roman and then Damian Priest cash in, and Damian Priest is the undisputed champion after he cashes in on Jey Uso. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Probably not. It's probably not going to happen because WWE, they are stuck in their Roman Reigns fetish. They're stuck in their Roman Reigns fetish. I don't get it. I really don't know what else I can say. I really don't. I really don't. At this rate, we all know Roman Reigns is going to come out victorious. What happens after that? According to the reports, supposedly Roman Reigns is not scheduled for Fastlane. He's not scheduled for Payback, and he's not scheduled for the Survivor Series. What the fuck are you going to do then? What are we going to do? SmackDown needs a world champion. I don't know. Based on what's been going on with Jey Uso, I can honestly see Solo Sikoa being the one to cost Jey Uso, and Solo Sikoa is ultimately the guy that Jey Uso faces off against at Payback. Now, Jimmy Uso, some people have been saying that Jimmy Uso is going to come back and he's going to cost Jey and side with Roman. I'm not sure why anyone would want that. That is a inexcusably illogical move to go with. That would make zero sense whatsoever. Zero sense whatsoever. Why? And I mean, why would Jimmy Uso ever side back with Roman after he got his ass beat by Roman? Makes zero sense. If anything, when Jimmy comes back, I would not be surprised if we are building towards a title defense between Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. I would have Jey Uso win. I really would, but we all know that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. That's the truth, and we're going to have to deal with that. We're going to have to deal with that. Should be a good match. Should be a very fun match. I'm going to enjoy it, that's for sure. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rundown. Quick show today, but still a solid show as per usual. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into the stream. You guys were awesome as per usual. Thank you very much for spending your Thursday nights with me. And we have got a busy weekend ahead of us because we got the LFU on Saturday, and we're going to discuss the Elite, that being Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks re-signing with AEW and the real reason why they chose to re-sign with AEW, and whether people want to admit it or not, and I understand that a lot of people tend to be delusional fucktards, but at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania played a huge factor into the Elite re-signing with AEW. Matter of fact, it had everything to do with the Elite re-signing with AEW. And we're going to discuss that on Saturday. We're going to discuss that on Saturday. And then on Saturday night, I am going to Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey. And I will be hanging out with the Wrestling Express peeps as we hang out and watch SummerSlam. I will be there taking my notes as well. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time to say the least. And then on Sunday, I got my main man Earl Cole coming on back on the channel for the Rewind for SummerSlam. It's going to be a fun time for sure. But until then, I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rundown. But before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, who runs the IWC? I don't want to hear anyone else say it. I don't want to hear anyone else say who but DJ motherfucking Storms. That's who. Don't you forget it.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.